Buddy of mine from clear across the other side of the planet asked me a question last night. Well, I told him what I thought, and told him a couple of stories about what had happened and everything. And he said that was real cool, man. I need to tell the world that. And I told him, I said, I already had a bunch of them stories already wrote down. The struggle and all to survive and all to make it as a full-time knife maker. So we're going to tell you a bedtime story in the morning time. Here we go. This one out here. All right. Story starts off. It's a 25-year-old knife maker. Uh, he works full time in a poultry plant sharpening knives. Uh, Money's running real low. He only makes about $180 a week, don't you know? Um, he'd been saving up a little bit of extra money for gas and building up knives for months. Needing money for school and clothes and books and all. And at $180, really wasn't cutting it. So he'd heard about a show clear across the country, all the way up to Oklahoma. He gathered up all of his knives, cashed in all of his change. Thought he had enough money to make it out there. Knew he'd have to be spending the first night in the truck at the show, and hoped the guard wouldn't run him off, don't you know? Well, on his way, with all the money that he had in the world, he made it within 100 miles of his show and started running low of gas and already out of cigarettes. He whooped in an old country store. Old man sitting out in front, whittling on a piece of cedar. Cedar in one hand, case knife in the other. Just whittling and having a good time. Nice pretty day. The young knife maker said, "How you doing?" Old man said, "Pretty good," as he leaned over and spit. He was dipping snuff, you know. The old man asked him, said, "How are you doing, son?" Young knife maker said, "Well, I'm doing real good. I really got no complaints. A little bit of trouble in running out of gas and out of money and out of cigarettes. I'm on the way to a knife show, and it don't look like I'm gonna make it. I may have to leave my car on the side of the road somewhere and walk the rest of the way." The old man said, "Where's your knife show?" The boy told him, "Oklahoma." He said, "Let me see one of your knives." And back then, the young knife maker was carrying his knives around in a brown sack. So he went to the truck, picked out what he thought was the prettiest one he had made, and with a real nice holster, carried it up there to the old man. The old man was shocked with the finish of this knife. This knife looked as good as his case knife and sharp as a razor. The old man stopped whittling and looked at his knife and was just totally amazed. Said, "This ain't your first knife." Then the young knife maker told him, said, "No, my daddy was a knife sharpener for over 30 years, and I've been doing it for a few years in the plant now. And before me, my granddaddy was a farmer and amateur blacksmith. You know, he made about all the things he needed to do back then. And that's when I got my love for making knives. I made one when I was just 10. And watching my daddy sharpen his knives every night gave me a really greater love for knives. And when I got 18, he got me a job in the plant. The old man said, "That's an incredible story. I love it. What you want for this knife?" Young knife maker said, "Well, I was hoping to get about $125, but I wouldn't ask nothing like that out of you. If you give me $20 in gas and a few packs of cigarettes, I'll be just fine." Y'all have to overlook me. This part gets me. Old man said, "I think we can do that." He looked over his shoulder and yelled in the store at his wife, said, "Ma, get this boy a couple 4-packs of cigarettes." And the old man said, "What brand you want?" Young knife maker said, "All the cheapest you got be fine with me." They said, "Menthol or regular? Short or long?" Young boy said, "I don't want menthol, just regular and short be fine." "Get this boy 4 packs of Marlboro in the short red pouch, please." "Go ahead and pull your truck over there and just fill that joker up." Young knife maker did. He gave me them 4 packs of cigarettes and an extra $20. And he shook his hand and told him he'd be back Monday or Tuesday to pick up the knife and give him his money back and a little bit of extra. Not a problem. And thank you, without you, I could not make it. So he headed on up to Oklahoma, got into the show, and we was setting up his table, and one of the people working at the Coliseum loved one of his knives, and they talked, and he bought the first knife before the show opened. So the young knife maker was able to get a motel. Doors opened the next day. Crowds running in. People picking up his knives and amazed that they was made out of just old things that had just been put together. Files and truck springs and deer antlers. What such of a job is like art they was looking at, and sharp too. So needless to say, he had a great day. Sold everything the first day. So Sunday, he packed everything up and headed on back home. He stopped in there Sunday afternoon at that old man's gas station. Whooped in there with a grin from ear to ear. Walked up to that old man that was sitting there whittling with that knife. He hadn't even put it down. They was shavings nearly up to his elbows. They was. He had whittled up his whole supply of cedar with no deny. Shavings all around. And the old man, when he seen him pull in, he stopped, laid what was left of his cedar stick down and his knife, and stood up. Met the young knife maker face to face, shook his hand, said, "That's a heck of a knife. You ain't getting it back. How much do I owe you?" And the rest of the story is he goes home and buys his kids books and clothes and stuff to go to school. So the moral of the story is, how do you get there? Totally committed, nothing less. If you don't have faith in yourself, nobody else will. I got faith in you. I'm pulling for you. If you need my help, I'm here. Y'all have a great day. See you bye.